Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So for this next video, if you have ever experienced any form of parent alienation, if you have paid, the court systems to fight for custody or, child support, or to have 50-50, and, the mother has intentionally withheld the children from you, I would like you to drop it in the comments. I'm going to screen record and screenshot every comment and basically make a clapback video to this next creator after I show you this video, and we're going to talk about it.
I've spoken to hundreds of co-parents, and there has yet to be a father that has been able to explain to me how the baby mom is keeping the kids from them and how they're not able to get the kids.
Can we all just agree that this man has probably spoken to like three people that are women that have solidified his thought process, and he's only interviewed people that basically pander to his whole idea because he's out here fishing for single moms, for starters? And just off the top of my head, if this man actually did any research, he could go look at, the unmarried father, Ryan's page, which I'll tag him below, and you'll see thousands of comments there of men who have been withheld from their children and have fought in court to try to get even 50-50 or the little amount of time that they actually do get. And that's just for starters. But of course, you had more to say.
Once I ask a question or two about how is it possible, I get ghosted. I get told I'm pandering. They don't want to answer the question of how. I would very much love for a father to come and explain to me exactly what is going on in this situation and how a mother has been keeping the children away and how they very much want to be active. But I don't get that.
Let's be so for real. There is not a single woman out here that is going to actually admit that they intentionally withhold the children because they believe that they are right and the fathers are wrong. It is like narcissistic behavior 101. If they don't see themselves as the problem, how could they come out and say, yes, I've made mistakes and I've withheld my children? Let me explain to you how withholding works. It is something along the lines of like, hey, if you don't pay my electric bill, you're not going to see your kids this weekend. It's, hey, if your girlfriend is at the house and she's suddenly too dangerous because I'm mad and I'm pissed off, then the kids won't get to come to your house anytime that she's around. Meanwhile, she's got multiple dudes around the kids whenever the hell she wants. And nobody ever wants to talk about the way that women will pick up their shit and just leave a man. They might move states away, hours away, and they never get charged for child kidnapping. In fact, they get them settled in at their mom's house, wherever the hell she lives, and now, they're hours away, 9, 10 states away. And now she's all bitter and mad because she's got to do everything on the day-to-day, but she made it impossible for the father to be involved every single day because she moved too far away, and the courts have already sided with her, and she's fine where she is because it's in the best interest of the mother. And get this, let's just say that man has a business or that man has a job where it's just in that, area of work. Guess what? You think he's moving his job? Because if he moves his job and makes less money, she's not going to be happy with that either. But y'all never want to talk about that. Not to mention the amount of brainwashing that a lot of these women get into where they intentionally make the children throughout their lives hate their fathers. They tell the kids, your father wanted nothing to do with you. Your father was never here. Your father was never involved. And guess what? When those kids are old enough to do their own research, they find the dad and they get the real story, and they realize that this entire time, the mother has made up a story to withhold them from their dad, and they're 20, 30 years old, and they missed all of this time with their father because of their bitter ass mom. But y'all never want to acknowledge that. Because we live in a world where women are perpetual victims. No matter what they do, they can do no wrong, and literally courts will protect the abusers. I genuinely don't know what your job is that you have supposedly spoken to 100 co-parents or more where you have solidified your thought process, but if you have only solidified it to basically, side with your thought process and pander to single women because you probably want attention and you didn't grow up with enough attention, you're in the wrong service. You can look at any single child support video on this freaking app. You can go to Pearl's page, which I don't necessarily always agree with Pearl, but you can see thousands of comments from men. Or what? Is it because it's Pearl speaking and you don't want to see her face, so you don't do your own research? To all the men in the comments that struggle every single day to fight for their children because they are being withheld from the mothers? You also never want to talk about the amount of men that lose time with their kids because guess what? The kids get older and eventually have birthday parties and they have all of these extracurricular activities, so they lose more time with the dads. But that's a whole other topic. And while I'm thinking about it, another example of this is anytime bitter ass baby mom is pissed off, guess what? Now it's, oh, well, I'm not driving them to your house. I'm not meeting you halfway. Come and get your kids. Come and get your kids. It's always your kids when she's pissed, but our kids when she needs money. But y'all never want to talk about that either. Then I love the fact that women love to throw out here that they're so unsafe and these men are like alcoholics, but y'all never want to talk about the wino moms that drink wine every day, hanging out with their friends and their cousins, and because it's family, she's getting lit every single day. But that's socially acceptable because she's a mom and she's stressed out and she deserves to have a drink with the girls. But dad has a drink after a long freaking work week because he's working 80 hours to pay for her child support and try to get custody and pay all of his legal fees. And he's already $85,000 in debt from trying to fight for 30% of time with his kids. But he has a drink and now suddenly he's an alcoholic. Oh, and lastly, just off the top of my head, because I did not write a script for this or write any notes, the type of women that will actually claim that they're alcoholics or drug users, and now all of a sudden, you know, they need a drug test every 3 months and they need to prove it. But when was the last time women had to prove it? Every time we talk about paternity, women don't want to do those either. This entire post is nothing but ignorance spewed out to pander to women, and it is absolutely pandering because you came with no facts. And if you came with facts, the 100 people that you've supposedly spoken to would have some kind of proof, and you can't tell me that out of 100 people, not a single one told you that they weren't being withheld from their children. It's because you're only speaking to people that solidify your thought process so you can pander further to women. And just because you don't see something happening doesn't mean that it's not true. That's like telling a woman who has been in a domestic violence situation where you've never seen bruises on her that she's lying. So you are essentially telling these men that just because they're not screaming at the rooftops about their situation, that you're invalidating their experiences. With that being said, I hope that the men chime in, share your stories. I would love to tag this creator on TikTok and show him men that are actually talking about their experiences, because according to this man, it doesn't exist. Okay, bye.